and let me just get started reading the trades. There's almost no news, so expect a very short episode today. Um, okay, the top story, the breaking news, it's not really breaking news, is Media CEO pay 2025. Big bucks compensation reignites wage gap debate as LA nonprofit pushes for overpaid CEO tax. The C charts. Oh, please. No, thank you. To me, this is still, and it has been for years. And I know there are people who feel very strongly about it. I think it is one of the less thoughtful, the less significant stories that there is in this industry. The conversation about the wage gap and how much CEOs are paid, it's really irrelevant. It is not going to get more movies made. It's not going to get people, it's not going to get a grip paid better. It is not going to get more movies back in Los Angeles. This is not how it works. I know it can be irritating. I know it can be bothersome that people are getting paid so much money, but move along, little doggy. It's just, it's kind of silly at some point. Moving along to the second story, which is Mortal Kombat 2 doing $5.2 million in previews last night on Thursday, one of which I went to. Actually, I have my lovely cinema scorecard that I did not fill out because I never feel like I should be filling out a cinema scorecard. My son did fill out his, and it wasn't very positive. Movie's okay. I thought I would review it, but there's really no point in reviewing it. Um, it's weirdly self-serious, except for Johnny Cage, who is featured in the ads being, silly and smartassy and whatever. But it's a pretty self-serious movie, and it's not as violent as you might hope or expect in terms of the audience. I think actually the last one I like better, but whatever. It's a very specific niche, and a lot of fighting, a lot of fighting, a lot of fighting. Gets a little repetitive, and there are only two real heavy duty kills in the whole thing. Nobody gets their spine pulled out, but that is what it was. The question is, how much does this $5.2 million opening or this Thursday portend for the weekend? Some would say it could be $13 or $14 million. Some could say 51 million, which is what Final Destination Bloodlines opened to after it had a $5 million preview or so, $5.5 million preview last year. Who knows? The projections are in the 40s. So the preview issue really a non-issue in terms of that. The only real question is whether Prada is going to end up being number one or number two. Michael will once again be number three, and I guess Project Hail Mary will likely still be number four, and Super Mario Galaxy will still be number five. So there you go. And then Hokum, which is still in this first week, will come out somewhere behind that, most likely. Another kind of slightly empty weekend from the studios. I do think, however, that there's a pretty good chance we'll get to $100 million for the weekend, which is at least reasonable, borderline reasonable. The next story is another story that I just don't find particularly interesting. I never have. David Ellison is set for cash and stock awards worth $150 million after Warner Brothers Discovery deal. Who cares? Why does anybody care about this? I don't know why anybody cares about this, but no, I don't think anybody should care about this. When you're David Ellison and you're buying a company for 110 or 101 or 108 or whatever it is, $1 billion, 150 million seems like chump change. And for him, it is. I wouldn't mind having it, but I'm not David Ellison. What can I tell you? Moving along, there's really so little news here. Sean Astin, who is now president of SAG-AFTRA, took a role in a movie that apparently is news. NBC ordered Rockford Files, Line of Fire, and comedies Sunset PI and Newlyweds. So that's news for the people involved. It doesn't really mean anything to the audience until those shows are actually out. What else? There's apparently a contestant broke the bank with a record win for a single pricing game on The Price is Right. Okay, I'm not sure that's really news either. What else have we got? Is there anything? There really is no news today. Leonardo DiCaprio said something nice about David Attenborough on his 100th birthday. Everybody should have something nice said about them on their 100th birthday. There's a Will Forte, Tiffany Haddish, Eric Andre movie they're trying to sell at Cannes. Pretty exciting for all of that. Moving on to Variety, like I told you, it's gonna be quick today. Um, their top story is "I'm coming to the cottage." Oh, Jesus Christ! And excuse my French or my Christian or whatever. An exclusive first look and tour of the real heated rivalry cottage available on Airbnb through May. That is the top story of a trade today. That tells you how little news is out there. Ooh, really little news. Atsuko Akatsuko, who I think is the best, who is on Hulu and is just a very funny, smart, thoughtful person, is now going to have a Netflix special. So congratulations to her. I hope she's getting eight figures. Um, let's see what else. Nothing else there. There apparently John Bailey from Wicked is going to do a movie with Natalie Portman. I'm not sure who that's news for and what streamer that's gonna end up being on, but we'll find out, I guess, when it happens. What else? So the two comedies that NBC picked up, one is a Jake Johnson comedy, a detective comedy, and the other is the rom-com called Newlyweds, stars apparently Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't know if she's a newlywed or she's, the mother of a newlywed or what, or the grandparent of a newlywed, but, it is what it is. By the way, they split the story Record Files and Line of Fire into a second story because there's so few stories. They had to put two stories into one. Um, what else? That's it. That's all the news in Variety. There's like zero news. Holly Reporter, their lead story is Gawker. Yes, Gawker. It's been dead for 10 years, but the scars are still hearing. Frank Giacomo, excuse my French, or lack of French, or my lack of Italian, I guess, in this case. Catching up with the Gawker 4, or because Nick Denton's not one of them, to talk about where they are and where the industry is. And they're saying that, Denton's diaspora is still shaping media and haunted by what happened. I don't think they're really shaping media, or they're haunted by what happened, I'm sure, but aren't we all? Things have changed. 10 years ago is a different story, and I guess, as a feature story, okay. It's not a news story in any way, shape, or form. There's no news involved. What else? ABC says the FCC's equal time investigation into The View is unprecedented and will chill free speech. Yes, that is the case. For some reason, James Hibbert is doing it now, his weekly thing that they feel they need to do, which I hate to death. And it's not because I dislike James Hibbert in any way. I just hate the idea of this, but they're going to try to make a thing out of this. Winners and losers, Hollywood winners and losers. They've got to do it. They feel compelled. The losers apparently are Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. I would agree, disagree completely. I would say they won because it's over now. Anyway, but he's of course featuring that because it gets clicks, which kind of sucks. Winner, Louis C.K. Again, he's doing a thing for Netflix. This is 3-week-old news. I have no idea why he's on the winner list this week. Lost the Met Gala. Whatever. Won Spencer Pratt. Why? This is just so like it's like, oh, look, we looked at the gossip column this week and we decided this is what's going to happen. Lost Warner Brothers because they had their revenue fall 3%, and the company lost 2.9 billion in the first quarter. Mostly that was the breakup fee to Netflix. Whatever, they're being absorbed. It doesn't matter. And then Sean Astin apparently is a winner because he got a job as an actor. Okay, the whole thing. Just I wish they would stop doing it. It's such a desperate effort, in my opinion. What else have they got? Holly Reporter, other genius stuff here. Mortal Kombat again. Rocker Files again. Apes from yesterday, or Apex reteam, not Apes reteam. Okay, still looking for any news. Let's see what I clicked on here. There's another feature piece by Julian Sancton about 24 hours inside the cult of A24. A24 has been building the Cherry Lane Theater into a multi-purpose platform for their various uses, including good, stuff from A24 and theater and a little restaurant and all kinds of 45-person restaurant and all kinds of stuff. So, they're now calling that the cult of A24. I don't really think that's anything. After Babylon, there's another feature. This is a Cannes exclusive. from David Canfield. After Babylon, Diego Calvo worried he'd be a one-hit wonder. Now he's playing Can double duty. He's in a queer romance called Club Kid, and then is in going to be in the Nick Refn film, Her Private Hell, and still don't know whether Diego Calva is going to happen. I thought he was actually the weak point of Babylon, unfortunately. Whatever they were trying to get out of him, he just did not deliver. He was not that guy. The wide-eyed kind of narrator of the story who was just amazed by the whole thing and grew up by the end and all that. It was very Gatsby-esque and didn't quite work. And I think a lot of that was because the actor was not really very interesting. And maybe he's much more interesting in these other movies. It's hard to tell. Maybe he was just playing uninteresting because that's what they wrote. Look, there's a new timetable, eligibility rules, and campaign guidelines from the Golden Globes. Not interested. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Penske, which owns the Golden Globes. I don't need to hear any more of your stuff. They have an interview with Tony Leung, who is in a movie called Silent Friend. There's a review of the Amadeus TV show, which is coming on Stars now. Will Neon find more movies to buy at Cannes? Well, of course they will. That's what they do. And then there's another movie being sold at Cannes with Jesse Buckley and Paul Mescal for Ben Zeitlin, who is from Beasts of the Southern Wild, who hasn't made a movie in 7 or 8 years, but is a talent. We're still waiting to see. I mean, his last movie was kind of a car wreck, Wendy, and Beasts of the Southern Wild obviously was much beloved and embraced. And that is really all the freaking news there is. The stock market currently is up. It could be down again any minute. It's literally $7 up at the Dow Jones, 404 the Nasdaq, 6150 on the S&P, both all up. And then, of course, looked at film entertainment, and film entertainment is almost all down. The exceptions are Warner Brothers Discovery and Sony. Warner Brothers Discovery is up by 2 cents. Sony is up by 37 cents. Neither one is as much as 2% of their volume, of their stock value. And then literally everybody else is down. However, nobody is down by as much as even 2.5%. Comcast is down 2.46%, so almost 2.5%, but not quite. Lionsgate is down a little bit for no particular. None of these are, and there's no real logic or need for any of them, and they're down such a small way. It doesn't really matter. And that is the day in excitement here. I think I've been on for under 20 minutes, and nothing really going on out there. So thanks for watching. Have yourself a great weekend. Go to the movies. There's stuff out there to try to see if you haven't seen it. And watch TV. I'm going to actually spend the weekend, I think, maybe watching. Well, actually, don't even have the whole thing, but there's a chunk of a new series that I'm looking forward to watching. So I'm not going to even tell you what it is because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But that is the story. I am pretty much done. Have yourself a great weekend. I want to wish Jim Toth a happy birthday again, even though I didn't the other couple days ago, and I had misnamed the day on the headline of the podcast, that it was April 6th and not May 6th, and that's his birthday. So thank you, Jim Toth. You've been a good friend and a good supporter of this podcast and of the site and everything else. And everybody else, you're all wonderful. Thanks for watching. Thanks for reading. Thanks for reading the transcript. Thanks for listening. However you consume David Reads the Trades, it's appreciated. I wish there were more trades to read to you today, but there ain't nothing going on. We're in the dead zone. So have yourself a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Thank you for watching. Bye.